Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening to the Marriage is Tougher Than Woodpecker Lips podcast. This is Bryan, joined by my co-host, Paul. We'd like to welcome you to a community meant for the men of the world to share their thoughts and perspectives on marriage. We can learn from each other's experiences and help each other be better husbands. This week on the pod, we want to talk to you about the Dad Bod Dilemma.
Before we get all the way into it, we'd just like to welcome you. So if this is your first time, welcome. If you've been rocking with us for a while, we appreciate you coming back and tuning in. If you'd like to go deeper in this conversation at any point, just hit us up searching Marriage is Tougher on all social media channels, or you can go to marriageisttougher.com where we have a contact form. You click that link. It'll scroll past all of our episodes and you can leave your question or your comment there. You can also, if you'd like to be a guest, fill out that form, what you'd like to talk about, how to contact you, and we'll get back with you to get you on the show. Again, we really appreciate you rocking with us. And now let's jump in.
All right. Is a dad bod inherently terrible? Or do we just start feeling some type of way about ourselves coming off, I would say typically like the prime fitness of our lives. And we're like, yo, this ain't the same, right? Like we're getting older, stuff starting to hurt.
Yeah. I think it does coincide. The dad bod coincide with just time, right? It just is what it is. But right, you generally can care for your body because you have more time. Like if you're single or, you can just, get to the gym, run more, don't have to consider really much of anything.
Or
Even if
anyone.
yes, you know, um, and then that changes. And along with that change comes, less
Comfort.
time. But also, right, when you're single, you can also eat whatever you want, whenever you want. And you're generally just, for me, I was generally just eating to survive, right? If I wasn't with people, it's like, okay, I'm gonna make these same couple meals. It's gonna be, chicken and rice. It's gonna be pasta. It's gonna be waffle. Like it's just something quick, so I'm not hungry, and I'm done. But then once you're with someone, okay, now we're going out. Now there's leftovers, or when I was first, when I'm in my mid-20s, like I'm eating my meal and your leftovers at the same time, right? If I do that right now in my 40s, like I won't be able to move for 2 days. So like I can't do the same. So yeah, that's different circumstances definitely contribute to the dad bod. And I don't even think it's the dad bod, it's more the husband bod.
I think it's a little bit of both. I don't, because I think if things happen chronologically like we want them to, right? We get married, live a little while, then have kids, right? That I think is where it starts, where we start to learn to be comfortable with each other. And it appears that the the health struggle doesn't seem as important anymore, right? Like the upkeep of the body doesn't seem as important anymore because like I'm done trying to impress the world. Like I found my one.
Mm-hmm.
She's supposed to love me for me. And here's all of me.
And
Right?
a little extra that you didn't
Yeah.
expect.
Yeah. Love that too, right? So I don't know, man. It's a little bit of both, right? Then you get into having kids and everything, and then it just continues because you lose time for yourself, right? But then it changes, and you're like, "Uh-oh." That one day you look in the mirror like that didn't used to be there. Right?
Yep.
And I went through this time with my wife where I'm like, "Babe, I'm getting fat." She's like, "Oh, stop. No, you're not." I'm like, "Nah, look at me." It's like, "Stop lying to me." This is crazy. And then you go down the path that's starting to make some changes, and but then it's so easy to let life get back in the way as
Hmm.
well. You know what I mean? And then, like, I don't know, man. I've been in peak shape, and I've been close to 250 pounds.
Yo, that's wild.
Yeah. Now that also was at a time where I broke my ankle and I wasn't working at the time. So all I would do is sleep and eat and engorge myself.
Yeah.
And I had nobody at the time to tell me about myself either. Right.
Yeah.
And I didn't, to be quite honest with you, I didn't realize it until I was going out and people were starting to make comments about my weight. Never bad, right? But they're like, "Oh man, are you working out? Like, I see you filling out." And I'm like, "I ain't doing nothing. What are you talking about?" And then um, I saw a picture that was taken of me and past acquaintance mother. When I saw the picture, I was like, "Yo, why is my face so full?" I'm like, "Oh wait a minute, I'm big, big." Like, this is what they've been talking about. We're like, "Yeah, you're tall. You carry it well. We didn't know."
You said, yeah, that's a different level, man. That's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah, man. And then so I went on a path of like, oh, this needs to change. So as soon as I could get back up and on my feet without like crutches and whatnot,
Hmm.
started running, and like it melted off pretty quick. But I was like, yo, I didn't know I was capable to be that big.
Yeah,
That's
that's
crazy. That's scary.
yeah, it comes at you fast, man. For sure. That's man, there is such a challenge, like you said, like when things like that happen, and those things happen as you get older, right? Like
Mhm.
you roll your ankle, you hurt your back, you know, you have your Achilles go out. Like I'm just thinking about things that I've seen people go through, like, you break a bone, and then it's just like, man, well, I'm sitting here and I'm eating and I'm not moving, right?
Yeah.
And then, especially I don't know what it's like to be someone who wasn't health hasn't been health conscious their whole life.
Okay.
So, I mean, it started out with my mom. She always, taking vitamins and supplements and all that, and then getting into sports in high school, playing pretty significant rec leagues in college, and then pushing myself to try to run like 5Ks and half marathons, outside of that when I first got married. And then when my knees were like, yeah, you can't run anymore, it's like, what am I going to do? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so then it just was for a point of like yo-yoing through what I wanted to do. Got up to about 220 pounds. And I was just sitting there like, this can't be my life. Like, not as someone who was running up until that point. And so that was not the weight I was carrying. Um, so now then it was like, okay. But the balance part of that is the hardest part. It's
Mhm.
how do I make time for this and still have time for my family, right? It's how do I still stay involved with the things that's important to me and do this. And it's really trying to find that time, having that conversation with your wife of when can I have 45 minutes to an hour of not being involved with, with the life of the family.
Right.
Um, and how's that going to work out? I think we as a society, and you have to talk about this in your marriage, it's like really where is that on your value system? Like how important? Because if it's important, then you'll have to make that sacrifice. Either you as a person, meaning it's going to happen for me, it would be ideally, right? It's either going to happen early in the morning when no one's up, late at night when everyone's asleep, or in the middle of the day when you sacrifice your lunch, right? So it's kind of those are the places that don't affect everybody. Otherwise, it's right after work, but that means your wife is taking care of the kids, picking them up, blah, blah, blah. If you have a dog or, no kids, someone's taking care of the dog, just the two of you, hey, go work out together, right? But if you're
Mhm.
into other things, a lot of those things happen right in that 6 to 9 area, right? If you're in some type of club, if you do some type of league, bowling, basketball, pottery making, whatever, right? It's not usually during the work time. So then it's like, am I sacrificing that thing for working out?
Right.
So it's really thinking about your schedule and how important it is and what do you want to give up to stay healthy.
Yeah, man. I went through a period of like consistently waking up at like 5 o'clock in the morning in order to do that before work. I was trying to find things at that time um, that fit the schedule, fit the lifestyle to keep and stay healthy. Um, what I will say, when I had that health event, um, I've struggled to get back to it. Right. So now I find myself doing other things in order to maintain my health. And that's not to say like I won't get back into the gym or anything like that. It's just the way that that health event came about makes it a little scary to go back to that style of working out, I guess. You know what I mean?
Well, I think that's good to talk about because a lot of times we think if we have to be healthy, we have to go to the gym,
Hmm.
right? So could you share some of the things that you're doing alternatively to the gym that maybe would be helpful for others?
Yeah, for sure. So I decided to cut out drinking from my life completely. I bought a juicer, so we're juicers now. Um, Try to put those together and take them to work daily. So we're doing mixtures like celery, cucumber, kale, or spinach, beet, orange, apple, turmeric, ginger, all those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and surprisingly, these juices are pretty good, right? Like, and not like just bearable. They're actually pretty good, right? Like I was a little bit nervous to add beet into it, but the beet actually sweetens the juice a little
Mm,
bit. And then you throw orange or apple into anything, it kind of becomes more forward than the rest of it.
mm-hmm.
So it might not look very appetizing, but to taste it is cool. And I can sip on one of those as long as it's cold all day long.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what else is going on? I try to stretch at least once a day, like do a whole body stretch. Takes like maybe 15 minutes. Um, Started getting into more vitamins, right? So
Mm-hmm.
like a daily multivitamin. Um, I just finished a regimen of a basically like a liver cleanse.
Mm-hmm.
And then now I'm also on saffron. So
Nice.
those are some of the things I've implemented.
Yeah, so if we're taking care of our health, right, a lot of times we think gym only or some form of workout, but it's also habits and getting the right nutrients and supplements into your body as well. Putting the right things in give a better outcome, right? Like you don't want to put bad oil in your car, you don't want to put bad gas in your car, right? But a lot of times we do that with the things that we eat or our lack of certain things, lack of water, those type of things. So that's good alternatives. So yeah, if you can't work out like you want to, you know, be careful with what you're putting in or add the things that needed to be added that maybe our diet is lacking, and
Mhm.
that also helps as well. And then you get the double portion if you add working out to that. But a
Right.
lot of times just that change in dietary slash supplements or just being aware
Right.
really helps you feel better. I think that stretch because we sit a lot in our society. We're in our cars, we're in our workstations, we're on the couch, whatever. Um, Stretching is big to expand that out, give some space to your spine, give some space to your joints. Um, that's very helpful. Um, I know when I'm stretching a lot, like I just don't have pain places where I otherwise would. I'm
Right.
like, man, like I'm sitting here because even sitting down for a long period of time, if you're stretching, you realize, oh, this isn't that bad because you're not always in a sitting position. So I think that was a good point, and that's some good nuggets for sure. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. And another thing I'll mention is go to the doctor, man. I know as men, it seems to be like the typical things. Like we don't go unless like something's broken, right? But
Right.
just like we take care of our cars, like you were saying, right? Go to the doctor, get your annual checkup, and you know try to intercept anything that may be coming that you haven't just noticed yet. But in your exams, they're saying, hey, might need to pay a little bit more attention to this, right? If you have good health insurance, like I started going to the chiropractor regularly. Now that stemmed from some back pain that I had. Um, but had I not gone to the chiropractor and just toughed it out, right, one of a couple things would have happened, right? It would have just gotten significantly worse,
Hmm.
or I would have mitigated it in some way where maybe I just got used to being or uncomfortable.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot
Um,
of times we do that. Yeah, that's a good point.
right, right. And then it starts affecting other parts of your body, right? Like because you're out of alignment or whatever. Like this muscle's pulling on this area, and you have no idea that those two things are related. And next thing you know, like, man, why is my upper back hurting now? Like, why is my knee hurting? Like, it's because
Hmm.
you're all out of alignment. You're like, all these
Hmm.
things work together to make your body move, and you're not paying attention to it. And now you're in trouble, right? And so now it's making me like hyper aware of posture. It's making me hyper aware of what things, especially when I'm sitting, are affecting my body in what way, right? Like
That's good.
my work truck, it has like a very shallow footwell. So being a little bit taller, when I'm sitting in that truck, like my knees feel like they're up in my chest, and I just can't quite get comfortable. And a lot of times, if I'm in that truck, like I have a 2 hour drive minimum,
Hmm.
right? And that's one way. Then 2 hours coming back. Like pretty soon here, I'm going to be going to Pittsburgh. That's closer to a 5 hour drive. Um, so I spoke to someone, and they suggested putting a pad on the seat, not because I'm short, but just to correct the
Mm.
proportions, right? Like
Yeah.
it'll raise your hips, which will allow your knees to drop a little bit. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. And there was like instant relief when I put the pad in there.
Oh, that's wild. Not even thinking about that. Yeah, like little things, right? I've never, and a lot of people have been, leery about going to a chiropractor or whatever. But if you find a good chiropractor, and I've come across a number of them, all they want to do is educate you.
Yeah.
So as you're in there, they'll tell you what you need to know. They'll tell you more than what you need to know,
Mhm.
um, just so that you can live a good, comfortable life. Because like they got into that so that you can be comfortable, so people can be comfortable, right? And they not see people in pain. So yeah, if you can do it, if you have a friend that's a chiropractor, at least just call them, pick their brain, go out to dinner or coffee or something. Even if it's not a consultation, just to let them know you're interested. They will freely give that information to you. Um, just learning more about your body helps, right? Because learning, like you said, about like most of the time when your knees are hurting, it's not really your knees. It's usually either your ankles or your hips, right? And usually you're out of posture because something is tight in your hips, right? So it's like learning what you can do. Simple stretches, right? Again, not going to the gym, but what's like a hip opening exercise that I can do? where I
Mm.
hit my hips. I promise if you start doing that and you have knee pain, your knee pain will alleviate, right? How do I get my feet and my ankles stronger so that my ankles aren't collapsing in, and that'll take away your knee pain? So there's so many different things. Same thing for your shoulders. Like find a routine that opens your shoulders up or something. If you have shoulder pain, it's simple things that don't take a lot of time, and you don't have to have weights or anything. Just YouTube it.
Mhm.
Talk to your doctor. Um, Anything like that. I was thinking as you were saying, go to your doctor regularly. Be intentional when you're at your doctor, right? Don't just
Yeah,
go through the flow. Like I was thinking, uh, you can always find a way to have a competition, right? So I was like, man, what if we got our numbers from our doctor visit and then tried to beat our numbers the next doctor visit,
I like that.
right? Like whether it's your blood pressure, whether it's your weight, whether it's, you know, whatever. Like, and then it's like, what little thing? And then even let your doctor in, like, hey, I'm trying to beat these numbers. Like, what's one thing that I could do that would help, right?
Right.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I just thought about that. Like, I want to beat my numbers the next time I go. Like, so, yeah, I'll let you know how that goes. But just little things that we do, right? If you were a competitive person, compete with yourself, and see how that goes. Uh,
Yeah.
I think that's very important to find little ways that you can do that. Um, but everything that we've talked about is it's knowledge and sacrifice.
Yeah.
Like you gotta learn, you gotta sacrifice, but the sacrifice part is putting it into action, like figuring out, man, I'm gonna have to either give something up or change something that I'm used to. And it might be a little uncomfortable at the beginning, but I know for me, once you get in that routine of whatever it is, it's a lot easier and everyone around you see those benefits,
Yeah.
right? You'll enjoy your kids more because you won't be in pain. You'll have a little bit more energy. You'll be present with them. Um,
Mhm.
your wife will enjoy that more if you're, have a little bit more energy, slimming down a little bit, all those things. Saving money if you're not buying drinks or crazy food, right? Eating at
Right.
home. Um, there's just a lot of benefits, but I think we really have to do is sit down and is our health really a priority?
Right.
Like a lot of us say it is, but we're not proving that with our actions. So how
Yep.
can we prove that our health is our priority? And just find one thing that helps you get closer to it. Doesn't have to be a big drastic shift, but one thing, and just start with like, I'm going to do this for a week. See what happens. I'm going to do it for 21 days, or I'm going to do it for the month of May. Right? What is this thing? Do it for that time period. Stick with it, and then document it. Log it. See what was different, what was worse, what was better, and then try to tweak it.
Yeah.
That's a way to get started.
I love that, man. Finding a way to hold yourself accountable is important as well, right? I know, like, what back when I was regularly going to the gym, I think for me, what was holding me accountable is I was paying for an app that was instructing me which like exercises I was going to do each day. But it wasn't just the instruction; it was the, hey, check in every day, and did you get your workout in? Right? And it would track like um, how many minutes you actually worked out, and like you compare it to your Apple Watch and all that. Like little things like that, while they can be expensive, typically there's always like a lower expense option. So just do a little bit of research to see
Mm-hmm.
like what fits your budget, and if it is out of the realm of, you know, being able to afford something like that, there's a way, right? Like get a friend involved, get a coworker involved. Um, like the company I work for now, we've got this app or website which is now called Personify. But if you have coworkers in that app that have created a profile, you can actually challenge them with certain things, right? Like let's do a daily step challenge, and then it gives you the results, does the leaderboard and everything for whoever decided to join the challenge and all that, which is all cool and like little things that number one the company encourages, right? They brought it in, so now you don't have to feel bad about taking 15 minutes to take a walk, get up from your desk and get some steps in, right? It's something that's encouraged. They often talk about when you have to have a quick conversation with them rather than using the phone or a Teams message, get up and go and talk to them, right? Which is beneficial in multiple ways, not just that you're getting up and moving, but right, you are having face-to-face conversations. It's more personal, right?
Right,
You
right.
get up and you see other people. You make yourself more aware in the building. Um, so yeah, all I have to say is there's different ways to do things. It doesn't always have to be expensive, and I think we allow ourselves. And well, just speaking from my experience, I've allowed myself in the past to be discouraged by, wow, that looks like a lot of money. Like I can't afford that, or I'm unwilling to spend that amount of money, even if I can afford it.
That
Right?
part.
Yeah. There's always ways around that, man. So yeah, I hope today we've given some encouragement to some folks to, for a lack of better words, make better choices, right? Um, there's some of us out here that need to get our lives together, and I'm I'm on that path. So, just speaking from experience, I'm not trying to call anybody out, but if you feel called out, it might be for a reason.
Right. Um, yeah, thank you. Thank you for making it through this episode. We appreciate that. Hopefully, we, like Brian said, gave you some encouragement, gave you some tips, one thing that you can grab to just live a healthier life and don't succumb to the dad bod. If you have any ideas or if you have any ways that you've dodged the dad bod, just search Marriage is Tougher on any social media channel. Let us know. You can DM us. We'll we'll mention it here on the pod for sure. Because we're always open to finding different ways for ourselves. So we appreciate that. Again, you can go to marriagestougher.com, leave a message on the contact form. You can also see all of our episodes there. Really appreciate you guys spending time with us, and we'll chat with you guys later.
Peace.